A really big class here in the commercial show, and I think there's varying types and kinds, and really when you kind of step back and look at it, this one that wins, to me, does so the way she moves out. She's flexible in her lower joints. She gets out the best out of her hip and hind leg. Now, I'll be the first to admit, condition-wise, she's got plenty of chest for me today, and we'd like to see her just a little fresher, and I think this is where the gray female keeps it relatively close in my mind. She's better at the base of her chest. She's flatter into her shoulder, but today she wants to get a little too tight in her top. I'd like to see her flex better out of her hip and hind leg. A really wide base, muscular, big ribbed female that's coming next. She's moderate in her type and kind. Today, though, she runs a little bit into where she's shallower through her flank. I'd like to see her smoother over her tail head. The same can be said about this all-black female that's big ribbed. She's muscular and wide base. Just needs to go better off both ends of her skeleton. And then the Hereford Mark female, deep, practical, soft-sided type. She gets plenty open in her shoulder, deeper in her chest, and rounds out of her hip.
So I hope I'm saying this right. I think this is our last class of crossbreds. This old gold steer enters the ring, and I was like, Knights of Columbus, where has this one been? That thing is really nice. I love his extension up through his front end. He lays in his shoulder just about right. I mean, yes, he's got just the tiniest nickel worth of shoulder, but then you compare it to that caboose that he's pulling around, and he pulls it around so well. Yes, he's long, soft pastured. I've heard people beat cattle like that and said, well, they're coon-footed. And I guess when I see so many cattle in this industry that are pretty straight-hocked and short pastured and straight pastured, I guess I'll take one if that's what he's called, coon-footed. I like the way that calf goes. I love his body length. He's not long as a well rope, but he's certainly long-bodied. His extension up front is good. Love him out in his hip, center body, and then he's got really good bone. The young lady does an awesome job putting that steer in the ring. Coming up with the second steer, a steer that I think is really smooth. He just doesn't have the overall definition that the calf that stands in first in this class. You get behind him and watch him go away. There just isn't the shape out around, starting at the top of his spine and going around. Just so much shape and design in that calf. Just a really, really good calf. Just doesn't have quite the expression of a really expressive calf in that gold calf. The calf that comes next is a calf that's tremendously big-bedded. He's too big, round-shouldered for me. I'd like to change that. This calf has practically no hair left, and as I viewed them one last time against a steer that's got more hair, he has got so much tremendous shape out in his hip, out around, down into his stifle. Just a whole lot of boldness in this calf. I'd like to see him a little more refined in his shoulder, but that's a really, really good meat-filled calf you got. Young lady, you got an awfully nice calf also. I don't think he sits in his chest floor quite as nice as the steer that beat you in his class, but he is a little nicer shouldered. He's a steer that I think could be pulled down in his flank to balance him up a little. And again, as I said, comparing red meat to red meat, there just isn't as much mass and power in the hip of your steer as the calf that goes third in this class.
Nice females here as we get into some older heifers in the commercial heifer show. And I think this black one that wins, particularly for me, females that are built similar body type and muscularity. This one's just the more flexible alternative, particularly in the angle to her shoulder, the bend to her knee, and then she still gets out attractive out of her hip and hind leg. Again, that red female is as muscular and wide-based as you'd probably want them, still moderate in her type and kind for that much power. Today, she's wanting to get outside of herself and open up at the point of her shoulder. I'd like to see her softer off her knee.
Commercial heifer class 9. Second place goes to Ella Danielson. First place goes to Kendra Walter. As we head back to the steer side, it's class 7 of the crossbreds. Third place went to Riley Sims. Second place went to Cooper Stanley. Second place went to Cooper Stanley. First place went to Berkeley Bird. We'll make the drive on the crossbred steer side now.
a gray female that's going to win our oldest class today in the commercial show. One that what you see is what you get, and there's nothing wrong with that. She's as genuine as you view her from the side as any we've probably seen today. She's good in terms of her body shape, how it blends back and transmits into her rear rib and flank. Flexible, heavy bred. You can appreciate all that. Congratulations to that young lady.
Congratulations, commercial heifer class number 10, Michaela Hammond. We'll crown our breed champion in the commercial heifers as they enter the pen. Judge Bob May is looking at our crossbred steers to figure out who's going to be the breed champion.
So I'm going to lump together 4 cattle on the front end of this crossbred drive just simply because they share a commonality. They're thin, they're green, and I think there's a lot of good pieces in all 4 of these cattle to go forward with. With that being said, then we drop down the young lady circling her silver steer right now. Really high quality calf. Good through his center body. He's a steer that when he gets out in motion, I think he does so adequately. Just a really nice steer. She does an awesome job putting him together. Really, he's just one of those steers. He doesn't blow you away anywhere, but he's pretty darn good everywhere. Just a really nice calf. The young man that comes out of a really tough class, second to last class, I really like your calf. I like the way he's designed. I like the way the neck comes out of his shoulder. He's a calf that's good enough through his center body. I think when you get that calf in full hair with good flank hair, I like the way he balances up. I think he goes adequate off of both ends. And then I think the thing that's surprising about this steer, when he hit the ring the first time, I didn't expect to see that much steer. With that much look, I didn't think to see that much steer, and he's certainly got some product. Good calf. And then old Yeller here, or Goldie, whatever you want to call him, comes in, and I made no bones about it. I really like that calf. I love his extension. I mean, he acts like he wants to get his head up there in the rafters if she'd let him. He comes out really high out of the point of his shoulder. He's elongated through his front end. He's nice in his chest floor. He's good in his fore rib. Now, is he as deep in his flank as the calf that just circled? I'd say maybe not. I'd say it's a close call. Maybe he doesn't carry back there quite as well. But if you're going to say that about that calf, I think you're certainly looking for something to say negative about one. And I think they've all got a negative. I don't think there is such a thing as the perfect beast. I think his front wheels go north and south. I love his length of pasterns. He may be too soft pasturing for some. He certainly isn't for me. I like him out in his hip. Could you pick him up in his pins to make him perfect? Well, I suppose you could, but that's a really nice calf. I like the way his rib looks. I haven't been feeling these progress cattle, but I like the looks of that calf. I like the looks of the calf in front of him. I like the looks of the silver calf in front of him. Like I said, I wasn't being disrespectful for these 4. They're just cattle that are quite a bit behind yet. We got to get the feed bucket in front of them and see what we actually got. With that being said, I'll go out and pick you the one I like best. We'll let our reserve come in.
Let's put our hands together for each one of our commercial class winners out here as we get to picking our last breed of the day. I think that from top to bottom, again, it's been a fun day, and I know we got a supreme drive, but there's a lot of quality out here. My hat's off to the young people and the people that have helped them get here. It's getting long into the day. There's one out here that I think winds it up just from a structural based standpoint, a body shape, a balance, a look, a silhouette standpoint. There's one that kind of gets to you pretty good, I think, out here in my mind. I'll go show you the one I like champion, and we'll get you a reserve. Let's give them a hand.
the steer side of the crossbred division, reserve champion goes to Grady Chaplin. Your crossbred champion is going to Berkeley Bird. For the grand drive, we will have all winners, all champions in the arena, respective to your gender. We will hold the reserves outside of the ring and fill in when necessary. On the commercial heifer side, your reserve breed champions, Sage Schilling, and your breed champion, commercial heifer, goes to Trevor Williams. We'll finish up in the steer ring now with the slick steer. One entry, Bailey Page, Shamrock, Texas. Slick steer, final one of the day.
That's turned on.
So with this microphone in my hand, I can say whatever I want. You don't know if I'm sincere from the heart or not, but that is a good dude right there. I don't, what does he weigh? What's he weigh? So he's approaching 1,100 pounds. Would you say you're going to San Angelo with him? San Angelo? Yep. Really, really good calf. Good from hooks to pins. I guess, we only get to look at one of them, but that's quite a treat to get to look at that one. I love the way he extends up through his front, fresh-chested. He's got a ways to go yet to get him mark ready. I love when he walks. You can see that crease in his butt. That's a really, really good calf. Regrettable we don't have some to show against him, because I'd say he'd be out here in the champion lineup, even against a lot of competition. That's a nice calf.
We're going to start it with the heifer grand drive. All winning heifers.
Yep, it's going to be Jeremy. He's judging.
Jeremy Lester, Oklahoma State University, Stillwater, Oklahoma, will be the judge. Jeremy Leister. You told me wrong in the past.
I didn't care. I didn't care.
You should have slapped the crap out of me so I could blame him.
Got me looking like a doggone fool. All right, so the grand drive. Here's how it's going to work. Big prizes, big money handed out. Fifth place is going to get Andis ZR Clippers, pallet of cedar fiber, Phantom halter, and a champion banner. Fourth place is going to get a circuit blower, a pallet of cedar fiber, Phantom shell halter, and a champion banner. Third place is going to receive a Weaver Pro Air Blower, Phantom halters, and a champion banner. Reserve Grand Champion is going to receive $1,000 of Bomberg Trophy Buckle Superflex, Purina Stress Tub, and a Champion banner, as well as a Phantom Show Halter. Grand Champion's going to pay $1,500 Bomberg Buckle Superflex, Purina Stress Tub, and a Phantom Halter, as well as a Champion banner. We'll bring in all of our Champion heifers. We'll let Mr. Jeremy decide which one is the best, as we appreciate each and every one of you sticking with us today. It has been a long day, we know it, as we got started a little bit late this morning with all of the entries. And I can honestly say, in the 2 years we've done this event, record number of entries this weekend. Record numbers, and we're looking forward to having this again in 2022. So mark it on your calendars. We'll see you right back here at the Stierwalt Cattle Battle.
You got the people? Yeah. You got the people in the order? Do they come in this order? In order. Yeah, I'd say let's go, right? Sports Center. All right, we're ready for the champions. Grand champion, female, Stierwalt Cattle Battle.
You do as much as you can. Hi, Lennox.
All right, let's do it. Grand Drive in the heifer classes. We'll start it off. What started this morning before noon? Your breed champion in the pre-junior mini Herefords, Miss Brooke Fuss. And we'll roll to the second class, the Angus division, and that champion was Camden Colby. In the composite charolais, it went to Braden Callis. The polled Herefords, and it went to Creighton Carpenter. The limousine and the Rim Flex, that champion was Caitlin Skiles. In the main Anjou, your breed champion, Neely Davis. In the main Angus, it went to Cash Long. Maintainers went to Reagan Wilborn. And the Red Angus went to Finley Myers. In the Keys, the breed champion was Abby Emberson. Horn Herefords and Emma Lynn. In In the Shorthorns, it was Daxon Cash. Shorthorn Plus and Cassie Kelly. Percent Simmental went to Abby Emberson. AOBs and Zoe Williams. And the commercial heifer went to Trevor Williams. These are your grand champions from the heifer show today. How about a big round of applause for all of these kids showing up and showing out in 2021 at the Stierwalt Cattle Battle. From Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, Oklahoma, Mr. Jeremy Leister. Jeremy Leister, your judge, walking through to decide who is going to win the grand champion $1,500, a Bob Berg buckle, some Stierwalt Superflex Purina stress tub, as well as a Phantom show halter and that champion banner.
Well, folks, let's put our hands together for all these young people out here. I know it's getting late in the day, and I don't have very many speeches to make, and probably nobody really wants to listen to them anyways, but what a first-class event. And when you get asked to do something by Kirk Stierwalt to stand out here and evaluate cattle, the only answer, yes. And a young kid from a small town in Missouri, flipping through magazines, and you get to stand out here and watch someone like Bob May sort through steers and show that there's 600 head of cattle come to, you know that you've probably got to do it all. And so I tell everybody out here that your dreams do come true. You do get to evaluate shows, and you get to work with young people, and there's nothing better, to be real honest. And I can't thank Kirk and Julie enough for everything they've done for me and my family in the last 5 or so years. You know, and this is a family deal, and they treat you like family 100%, and there ain't nothing better. I'm fortunate my wife and my daughter are here. We got another little one on the way in April, and then my in-laws are here as well. And so ain't nothing better than family. I've always loved cattle shows. I've loved looking at cattle, and this is a humbling experience that honestly I take seriously. And when you get to judge shows, no matter what they are, you do a good job. You take it seriously because there's an integrity behind this that's second to none, and it's a cherished deal that I respect. There's awfully good heifers out here, and I don't need to tell distinct cattlemen that there's a lot of good ones. I think there's a handful of them that do it for me. Like we've talked all day, they're functionally correct in their structural base, they're good balanced, they're good bodied, they're functional cow prospects. Give them a hand, I'll go show you the ones I like.
Injury results out of the heifer show. Your grand champion, $1,500 Bomberg buckle, Superflex. Previous stress tub, the Phantom show halter, and champion banner goes to Caitlin Skiles. Reserve grand goes to Blake Henrich, $1,000, and all the goods. Third place goes to Trevor Williams. Fourth place, Abby Emberson, and fifth place, Creighton Carpenter.
Yeah, let's go this way.
And apologies, we have a correction. Third place went to Caddo Craft. Third place was Caddo Craft with a Weaver Pro Air blower, Phantom show halter, and championship banner. We're getting the steers lined up for their final drive.
I believe this is the order for steers.
So as our steers get to coming in, we will welcome them. Our champion steers is going to be Devry Delbon, Market Heifer, and Bailey Wilborn. The American and Tyler Harper, Rance McIntyre. Our Angus went to Carter Weber. Charolais champion was Mason Allen. The Key champion, Kyler Pettigrew. Hereford went to Mason Shout. Limousine and Kylie Dodd. Main Anjou, Parker Lockhart. Shorthorn and Landry Fuss. Simmental went to Jace Jordan. AOB and Cody Heath. Crossbred and Berkeley Bird and Slicksteer, Bailey Page. As our steers come in, Judge Bob May will take his look and decide which steer is the best of all.
So as we wrap up the night, just a couple things I'd like to say. Nothing about the cattle. We've talked about the cattle all day long, and you're probably sick of hearing me talk. But I would address some things that I'd say, starting at ground level, I guess. I knew it was going to be a good day when I pulled up over the hill coming up here from Elk City this morning and saw that huge American flag hung about as high as the Stierwalts could get it. And you know, I'm from a blue state. I'm not really proud to admit that. But it's nice when you come to a blue state and you see people start the morning with the Pledge of Allegiance and they're not afraid to invoke the name of Jesus Christ. You know, they're not ashamed of that. And I come from an area where, man, oh man, we deal with a lot of stuff I don't think you folks have to. So with that being said, I knew long before that it was going to be a good day. As Jeremy stated a little earlier, I've been friends and competitors with Kirk Stierwalt for nearly my whole adult life. And that's the neat thing about my friendship with Kirk is we've gone head to head when we were 18 years old, and luckily for us, we had a deep enough friendship even back then that we never became enemies and competitors against each other. We just stayed dear friends. Our families have stayed dear friends, and make there no mistake, there's been nobody in this industry anywhere in any state, red or blue, that has brought more to the youth of this nation than Kirk Stierwalt. There's no question, that isn't even in question, and not only that, there's nobody that's a close second. So with that being said, I was dignified and honored that he asked to be here and judge today. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Jeremy said, you know, we got to judge beside each other and got to listen to his reasons. It was awesome. My ring help, I always forget to thank my ring help, and I'm not going to forget today. I had Richie and Mary Lou today. They were awesome. They kept the cattle coming to me. And so, lastly, you know, it's late, and for all you faithful that put all your kids in a truck and trailer and bring them these things, I know that's the side I live on most of the time. I like being in here judging. I like evaluating cattle, but I spend more time on the side of the fence as you are than I do on this side, and I appreciate what you do for these kids. And kids, if you think of it on the ride home tonight when it's late or whenever you go home, thank your parents. That's like fuel to their tank. So with all that being said, I got 3 or 4 or 5 steers out here I like a great deal. I thought the breeds were incredibly well represented. Again, I want to thank Oklahoma for letting me be a part of this today, and I know there was other states here too, but I just physically staying in Oklahoma. So thank you all for having me. We'll get you 5 steers and we'll move on.
And your grand champion steer goes to Berkeley Bird, $1,500 in trophy buckle and all the spoils.
Idaho.
Oh, Idaho? Oh, no.
Reserve Grand Champions going to Mason Allen. Third place goes to Grady Chaplin. Landry Fuss takes fourth place. As Mr. Bob May makes his way around. Parker Lockhart takes fifth place. So, grand champion Berkeley Baird, reserve goes to Mason Allen, third goes to Grady Chaplin, fourth goes to Landry Fuss, and fifth goes to Parker Lockhart. Folks, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this amazing day. It is something very, very special to be a part of anything that the Stierwalt family does, as I echo the thoughts of Mr. Bob May, Mr. Jeremy Booster. It has been a pleasure. God bless. Drive safe. We look forward to seeing you in 2022.